Hi, guys, and welcome back to Two Halves and Two Innings, our football podcast. And we are reviewing Matchday 9, in which we saw a weekend of absolute delight for me, Rohit, and Amit, and probably another misery dealt onto our fellow co host, Dheeraj, as Liverpool lost to Brentford, Arsenal have beaten Crystal Palace, and Man United have recorded their third straight win in a row against Brighton. What an absolute fantastic weekend. And we also won't forget Chelsea blundered against Sunderland, and also Man City lost to Aston Villa. Overall, an absolutely perfect weekend. Tottenham won, so I'm sure Rohit will be a little bit gutted about that. But you know what? You can't have everything. So we would like to also thank our sponsors at Davis Optometrists. So if you guys are looking to excel your eyesight and also with sports vision, then please do check them out. And we have information on the link below the video. So we're going to get straight into it. An absolute fantastic weekend. But I think we'll probably start with our fellow co-hosts team, Rohit, because Arsenal fans are absolutely loving it at the moment. They are, oh God, Instagram has just been crazy with them already saying they're going to win the league. You're going to win the league. It's only 9 games in, but
It is, it
22
is,
points,
it
sitting
is.
comfortably 4 points
Yeah.
above Bournemouth. How did you feel about that Crystal Palace game? Eze making an impact on his former team. What did you feel
Yeah.
like? How did you feel that game went?
Yeah, I think game was quite nervy to be honest. As the game went to 75th minute and then Crystal Palace started having more of a ball, and then I was thinking, oh, it's like last year, 2-all. Last 10 minutes they scored as well. Could go either way, and then you know how these 1-nils are. At the end 10 minutes, and then you don't have the ball, you have to defend the life out of this. So I mean, I was nervous, but we held on to the win. So brilliant. What a perfect weekend for Arsenal. I mean, should have said near perfect, because as you said, Spurs still won 3-0, but
Spurs won,
you
yeah.
know it's okay. We are still at top of the table, but it's only 9 games. Like I said in the reel, guys, it's still only 9 games. We're still very early in the season, but the way we are keeping the clean sheets, if we can keep that till the end of the year, end of the season, we'll be brilliant.
Mm.
We can win the league. I'm not saying, I'm not going over the board saying, yeah, we will win the league, but chances are we will win the league if we keep our clean sheets intact. That is the key. Can we keep here up to 38 games? That's a big challenge for the team.
But do you feel as Arsenal fans, I think they should be allowed to be a little bit optimistic. I think if it was going to be any season for you to
It
clinch the
has to be
title, it
this, right?
has to be this
It
one. It
has
has
to
to
be
be this
this.
one.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Liverpool are losing. City lost again today. What else you can ask for? And then this is the way again, it's all, we have to win our games. And that's it. At least in our hands. It's not like we are depending on Liverpool to lose now or City to lose now. It's at least in our hands. And
hmm
every game, every week, we're getting optimistic. And I'm
yeah.
loving it. And I don't care. It's a set piece goal or an open play game. Goal is the goal. So I'm very chuffed today. I'm very happy today. It was a nervy game. I think we beat a good team. I should say brilliant team tonight. It was
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah.
I think Palace, yeah, deserve some credit. I think
Oh,
they broke up a
amazing.
bit of
Yeah.
play. I think
Yeah.
Arsenal weren't probably as fluid as they could have been. I think there was a bit of sloppiness in the
Yeah.
midfield, and I think you guys again were missing Odegaard. And am I right in thinking Rice went off as well,
He
injured?
did. He did. He was tired. I felt he was tired because his corners were just hitting the first player. So I wasn't sure he was in today. I think he may be very tired or something's niggling him. I don't know, but I think I could see there's a niggle in there. But and then we brought Merino on, and then Hincape came in on for Calafiori as well. And I don't know what happened with Saliba. He was substituted halfway. Uh, I don't know. Mosquera came in. I haven't heard anything yet. What happened to Saliba? Because I haven't watched any post match interviews yet.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be something. But
I hope
anyway,
he'll be
but I
fine.
think
Yeah, yeah,
I think the main concern, obviously, from some Arsenal fans will be maybe the service either to Victor Yakarez or his impact in the game. I think he only had 8 touches or something
yeah.
in the first half. So, is that a case of is he starved of opportunities from the midfield maybe, or is he just not impacting the game as what he thought he should be? I mean, in the Champions League midweek fixture, he played really well and got 2 goals. So, is this a bit of a concern where sometimes we see international, European competitions, strikers doing well but not performing well in the league.
In the league, yeah,
So
Yeah.
So, do you think how do you think Yakarez, it's kind of started off for you in these first 9 games?
Yeah, I think I was expecting more, to be honest. But
Mm.
he's working, like I said, he's working his socks off. Basically, he's running, he's creating spaces for Saka and Martinelli and Trossard and Eze. But I was expecting more goals. But maybe they will come the more he get used to to his teammates. But then again, like you said, we're missing Odegaard. We don't have that kind of creative player in the team. Yeah, I know he is there, but he's he's more of a bowler. He's more of like going in, behind the striker. He's trying to be the striker, scoring goals as well. Odegaard is more about passes. Odegaard is all about that the brilliant passes, the vision. And I hope it will come, because today when Nketiah came in, and then you can see he changed the game a little bit for Crystal Palace. He was going in the channels. He was making our defense play hard, basically. He did cause a lot of problems. I feel this way. So you can see the difference, right? I hope we had an Nketiah back in the Arsenal, but then again, But Eddie was brilliant tonight when he came on. Same, I was expecting a little bit more from Yakarez, but he did his job. He was there as a first defender. But I think it was a tough game.
I think obviously, would you start being concerned if he goes another 2-3 games without scoring or assisting in the Premier League? Would you
Yeah,
start maybe thinking, is this
Ajay, yeah, I think it'll be fine as long as Arsenal are winning. In any team, no one actually talks more about individuals when team is winning. It only comes when teams started losing games. Like we're talking about Salah. If Liverpool were winning, we wouldn't be talking about Salah. But this is what's happening at the moment. Touch wood, Arsenal are winning. He's working hard. If he doesn't work hard, then we can talk about it, right? But I think it will click for him. As soon as Odegaard will come back, he will score more goals for Arsenal. So I'm
well,
very
I,
much hopeful. Yeah.
well, I think our viewers are a bit bored now of Arsenal fan TV. We don't want to hear any
No,
more
you
about
have
any
we
Arsenal
we
fans.
have to.
We,
Amit is
we've
not here,
we've
so we have
we've
to talk
given
about Arsenal,
no, no, no.
Ajay. So,
We've given you plenty of time now. We've given you what, 7-8 minutes. I think that's plenty enough on
no,
Arsenal. Now
no, no, no.
we
We
don't
are
want
the
to hear
top of
any
the
more now.
table. We are the talk of the town. Another set piece goal. What do you think about set piece
The
goal?
Listen, like you said, and we were discussing it on the WhatsApp group. No matter how you score, you have to get the goal in. And sometimes when these games are where you've got, what we talked about, Crystal Palace, they play five at the back. They're very hard to
They
break
were
down.
very hard to
They'll
beat.
hit
They were
you.
very, very
They're very
compact.
well
Yeah, yeah.
organized. Yeah, very well organized, very compact. So you got to do what you got to do. And I think obviously Rice swung it in. I think it was a header that came out, and then the technique from
Oh,
Eze to
amazing
kind of
goal. Yeah,
on the half
yeah,
volley,
yeah,
fantastic. Kind of like how
yeah,
Zubimendi scored
yeah.
that goal against when you played 2-3
Nottingham
weeks ago.
Forest. Yeah, Forest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
against Forest.
yeah,
So you got to take these chances. How
yeah,
many
yeah. We
times
have to.
have we seen goals from corners from any other team, or even long throws? And certain managers will complain about those tactics and be like,
Mm.
well, if the ball is dead or if the ball is a long throw, then we can't defend against this. We can't cope with this. So, at the end of the day, Arsenal are just exploiting a technique that they've mastered and obviously done well, and they've got the players that can play in open play as well. But if it doesn't click for Gyökeres, that's the only thing. Is like if you don't have him firing, you haven't got Jesus back yet. But
Mm.
obviously, I don't know if he's
Havertz
obviously.
no
But then
back
where
yet. Yeah,
Havertz is not back, which is really surprising because you've got a very good
yeah,
back reinforcements in that
yeah.
respect. So I think for Arsenal, the main key thing, which is what I've said before, is your defense is solid. So the foundations are strong. The back of the pitch is fine. Your goalkeeper's sound. In front of him, you've got a great defense. So it's going to be hard for any team to score against Arsenal. I think they've gone nearly over 300 minutes without conceding a goal. So this
Yeah, I
is
think
fantastic.
whole October, all 5 games
All
in
of
October
October,
we
yeah.
played, all
Mm,
clean sheets. This is what I'm
yeah.
hoping November will be like this, and December and Jan and February and March and April and May, and then we win the league and that's it. Come
Well,
on,
that's
Ajay,
this
come
is
back,
this is
come
why
back. Don't go.
this is why we can only give you 6-7 minutes. It's just boring Arsenal. I mean, there's nothing
Oh
really
my
much more to
God.
say. You guys are
See,
just doing
see,
well. Where's the
amazing.
drama?
See,
Where's
look
the
at this.
tamasha?
Boring, boring. This is the
Listen,
same old BS.
well,
Okay.
well, our co-host is having fresh escargot in France at the moment, and He's actually staying in a village called as they
Is
or
it?
is it
Yeah.
or whatever they like
Is
to
it?
say.
Yeah.
So I mean, we wish you having a nice little vino there and enjoying yourself. So, thank you for making me deal with Rohit and a very happy Arsenal fan. But I say we move on to I think probably the most arguably the controversial and the most talked about game of this weekend, which has to be Brentford and Liverpool.
Wow.
And honestly, I made a video and it got quite a few reactions. And I think it's starting to ruffle a few feathers now with these Liverpool fans, these fans that were just saying, "Oh, you know what? It was only a blip. It's only the squad getting to know each other." But I think some of the fans are starting to turn on Slot now. I think they're being a bit fed up of his tactics and his post-match, conferences
Comments, yeah.
and even pre-match
Yeah.
and comments about style of play. And I think I don't know what it is with him. I mean, you kind of. Well, I think we were talking in the group and we were saying, even Amit said, he's basically giving his tactics away, isn't he? He's basically saying to the opposition, "Look, we're not good
Play long
in the
balls.
air. We're
Exactly.
not good here
We're no
against
good.
set pieces.
Exactly.
Just play those." So,
I
what
mean,
do you take on what do you take on his comments? Firstly, let's just say regarding style of play, he said that Man United, I think, played about 53 long balls. He analysed and counted that they had maybe 400 odd long balls that they've had to face, and teams are playing differently against them. What does that kind of say to you as as someone who's leading a team? Because obviously you guys love to talk about leadership skills. And then, is that kind of just basically opening up your closet too early and basically saying, look, these are the pawns on the table. This is all I know. And if you do this differently, then you're gonna basically break through my defense. Do you feel like he maybe talks too openly or too much?
yeah, I think that was quite weird when I heard that as well. I wasn't, again, we gave him a lot of credit last year. The way he came out in the post match conference, obviously he was winning, right? He was happy, he was winning. So he was saying, oh, he was, when he beat United at Old Trafford, he gave away the secret saying, oh, this is how United played. And we were prepared for that. So we thought, oh, he's quite intellectual. He's quite good. But now, since our Liverpool started losing games, he's coming back and giving all this. I don't take it at all, basically, Ajay. For me, there's something going on behind the scenes because he has to justify why they are losing the games. Rather than saying where we were wrong or where we could have improved, he's saying because of opposition playing different balls, long balls, they are losing. It's that Rafa Benitez moment again, the facts. Oh, because United's played 53 long balls, or Arsenal playing this, or doing long throws. What were they doing at the end yesterday? They were throwing
Yeah.
long throws, you know?
Well,
And
he made a comment about, oh, they didn't play
yeah,
Sesko, so we were
yeah,
going to base our whole plan on
exactly.
them playing Sesko. Well,
Yeah,
sorry if the manager of the opposite team doesn't play the team
they did,
you thought you
exactly.
were going to play. So it
Exactly. Who gives
doesn't
these
make
kind
any
of
sense.
like excuses? To me, they're excuses. And then maybe something's coming out from his press conferences where he's not him. He's probably been pressured. Maybe something's going on behind the scenes. This is my guess that he has to change his way and then say, oh, rather than taking blame on himself, he's blaming other people. Rather than saying, okay, where we can improve as a team or accept the fact that they need to improve, there is a leak in the defense. There is the defense is not good. We need to work hard. No. We are very good, but blame is on your part. Something's wrong with other teams because they're playing long balls or they're changing the team. They're not telling us who they're playing. I mean, come on. Maybe we are misinterpreting his words, what he's saying, but I don't get it.
I think, yeah, it depends on how you take his comments. And again, he's analyzing quite a lot of things where it's not going in his favor about the long balls or the low block or the throw-ins. I think these are things as a manager, if you're at a top level and you've got a squad who you
But
spent 400 million,
exactly.
on a
But
squad,
Ajay,
you're meant to have strengthened the
you must have
squad from last
improved.
season. Yeah,
Exactly.
they've not improved at all. They've
They
gone
haven't.
backwards. If you look at
Exactly.
it
They've
from
gone
the
backwards.
statistical,
Yeah.
he said, oh, even if we weren't playing well, we still created two, opportunities and we scored two goals. Okay, the first goal, that shouldn't even have counted because it was way over extra time. That was like extra time. That
That was
was
another
that
thing,
was
right?
that was like in the
Yeah.
49th minute or something when it was only
Something. Yeah. 3 minutes
three
they given.
minutes.
Three.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then
Exactly.
it was almost 100 minutes they played. They played 10 minutes on extra time, and it almost felt like the referee Bajada was trying to say, "Look, do you want me to send off 3 or 4 Brentford players just for you to get a goal?" Like honestly, help could the referees give these guys? But I will say during the game, the penalty that Brentford did get, I thought that was very harsh on Van
I think
Dijk.
that
I
was
think
hard.
it was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was
It
it was a
wasn't
silly one.
nothing
Like
of
it was
a
like that,
silly.
he touched him. He obviously has, the authority to go down, but whether or not he was in the box, out of the
No.
box,
Yeah.
his momentum was shifting away from the box. I think that's a silly
That was a
penalty, I
harsh.
would say.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't,
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I, I wouldn't really have said that. But then Salah scored,
Exactly.
which, that'll give him a lot of confidence. But even in the midweek Champions League fixture, Salah was not happy being on the bench,
Yep. He
and
didn't
I
take
think
it well.
there were some people saying that he stormed off
Yeah,
straight down to the tunnel after the
yeah.
game. Some fans were saying, no, he did clap the fans and then came off. But then there's also, obviously after the United defeat, there were stories about Van Dijk talking to the players individually or in a group without the manager. So I think there's something going on, like you said,
Something
Rohit, in the
definitely
dressing
going on,
rooms,
Ajay.
because either the players are
Yeah,
kind of thinking, right,
yeah,
maybe we don't trust the manager, we need to talk
yeah.
about it ourselves, or the
Exactly.
players don't trust each other. Did they not
Yeah,
trust Kirkez on the left?
yeah,
Did they not trust Frimpong on the right? Are they not trusting the midfield? How many times we've seen, their midfield crumble. I think out of anybody, I think somebody that has been really good for Liverpool this season, I think, has been Szoboszlai. I think he's been a very good player for them, and I would have him, in my team any day. I think
yeah.
he's been the standout. Him and Gakpo, in particularly,
Mm,
have been really good. But
really good.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Rohit, what I want to say to you is, as a neutral, obviously you're an Arsenal fan, I'm a United fan. So as a United fan, I'm obviously going to have my,
I'm
agenda
loving it,
against
mate.
Liverpool. But are Liverpool actually now finally in a crisis now? Because a lot of talk, radio presenters and podcasters and sports professionals are saying, oh, the team are just gelling. It'll take time. Slot has to find the team right for him. But I think now, on the basis of 5
Fi-
losses, in
they
4
are,
league
mate.
losses, one
They
Champions
are.
League loss, and all in a
Yeah,
short time, are they in a
exactly.
crisis?
They are
Yeah.
crisis. If there's a blip, you will lose 1 or 2 games. You wouldn't lose like 5 on the trot and 5 Premier League games. That's on the normal games, but 5 Premier League games. That's a big one. They are in crisis, in my view. And then, like you said, and I were talking about earlier, he's saying certain things which we don't associate with him. Last year, like you said, his analyses were really good. This year, his analyses were kind of like blaming the other teams. It's not about how they want to. All the things you want to talk, like they playing long. Yeah, just say, yeah, our style of play at the moment is not suited to how other teams are playing against us. We need to improve. Simple. You don't have to say 53 long balls or some long throws or something, because they're gonna come back and bite you, because yesterday they tried to use the same tactics. So what's wrong? You have to score
I
a
think
goal.
my personal opinion, and
If,
I might be totally wrong
one,
on.
Ajay, tell
Oh, go on.
me
Yeah,
if
go.
Amarim or Arteta said the same thing, how the press would have reacted then?
Yeah, the thing is, I think with Arne, he came in, like I said, last season and performed really well. But again, like I've always said, it was already a great team. Klopp's team, that was a great team. He won it with Klopp's team.
Yeah, system
With
was ready for
Amarin, with
him. Yes.
Arteta,
Yeah. Yeah.
there may have been obviously things with regards to funds and not getting the right players and working with teams that you do not fit that system for. Like Amarin is 3-4-3. He had a squad that was maybe more suited to 4-2-3-1. He
Mm.
had bad eggs like Garnacho, bad eggs like Rashford being lazy, and the whole Sancho situation. It was a very toxic club environment. So for any Manchester United manager, it's going to be easy for them to be targeted because it's just the culture of the club. Liverpool have a strong foundation. They have such a great culture. They've got great players who've got a winning mentality. Same with Arsenal. Arsenal, they're going to build a team that are going to,
Yeah, it took
hopefully
him
dominate.
6 years.
And
Yeah.
it takes
Yeah.
5, 6 years, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so this is the thing. It's like the media, I think personally, have kind of let Liverpool off a lot, compared
They
to
have.
Manchester City last
Exactly.
season,
Yeah.
Arsenal last season,
Arsenal last season. Exactly.
and even
Yeah.
United, exactly.
Yeah.
What my kind of thing, what I would just say is in terms of why I think Liverpool in a crisis is that they're just slots too proud. And I think the whole Liverpool kind of executive board are too proud to kind of say, we messed up on this transfer window. They bit off too much that they could chew. I don't think that they needed at all to have
Mm.
bought
Mm.
that many players in the one window. I think every Liverpool fan will say, like, yeah, it looks great on the images where we've got 4 or 5 signings and you spent 400 million. But look what's happened. They've actually gone backwards.
But
And I think,
every
no, no,
one
but
of us, Ajay,
Liverpool,
was saying, they had the best transfer window. And we talked about it with
the,
Dheeraj as
the,
well. I mean, we were talking
I
about
think
they're going to easily win the league.
I think, but this is our naivety, and our
Yeah,
problem is that
the
we look through a
hindsight, isn't it?
short-sighted
Yeah.
lens. Well, we look through a short-sighted lens, and you think the more players you buy in a window, the better you're going to be. I mean, United have
Mm.
always signed 3 or 4 players every summer. We had, seasons under Ten Hag and even Mourinho where we bought 5 or 6 players, but it works sometimes and it doesn't work. I think Liverpool have always been great having a great squad and then just adding 1 or 2 players a year. They did that with Van Dijk and Allison. They only just brought them 2 in, and then they brought Darwin and Luis Diaz. And then Soboslai or McAllister. So it was only 1 or 2 a year, but they've gone for 5 this year. And I think it's just totally
Mm.
kind of like they've just not really worked at all together. Wirtz, fair enough, he registered 2 assists, and now he's finally got that name off the
Yeah,
back of his
the
back
back of his
name
back.
of
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, he's still. I mean, I think in the Premier League, I think he still needs to kind of do something. I think, but I think it's a case of I just feel like there's something wrong with that Liverpool team at the moment. On paper, it should be absolutely wicked. Like Jordan Henderson said at the end of the game, it's like they've got amazing talent, but it's
They
just
have.
somehow not working for them. So
They
listen, I
have to
was
fit.
happy. It
Yeah,
was yeah. Brentford have done really well. They're turning into giant killers at the moment. They've beaten us. And now they've beaten Liverpool, and they're a strong squad. Even without the likes of Wissa and Embuemo, they still managed to, absolutely do really well with like Sade and other players. So I think, credit to Brentford. We should take nothing away from them.
they
But this
exactly,
Liverpool team, they
exactly.
go to Aston Villa. They've got Aston Villa at home, and then I think they play Man City
They go.
after the internet. So
Yeah, I think they Crystal Palace first this week for the Carling
they got
Cup, League
Palace and
Cup.
Cali. Yeah, I'm just talking
Yeah.
about the league ones,
Oh, they
the
got the
league
league.
ends.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Premier League. Yeah, Premier
yeah.
League. They have Aston Villa.
So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, Aston Villa, and then they'll obviously have Man City very soon as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's gonna be very tricky if they're like 10 points, 12 points behind Arsenal. Then is that Liverpool done for the title? Because the
Ooh,
12 points is
yeah.
by November, Christmas is going to be quite a busy fixture as
It
well. So
will
they
be
can make
tough.
that could
It'll be
even
tough.
increase because Arsenal don't
Yeah,
look like losing.
yeah.
Liverpool look
Touch
like
wood.
not winning.
Yeah, yeah.
so,
But
so
City, I thought City were quite dark horses this year. They just silently doing their job. They weren't behind.
not
Today's
today
loss
though.
was actually a surprise for me. Actually, the
Mm,
City lost, but I was thinking, oh my god, no one is talking about City. No one is.
no.
They all focus on Liverpool and Arsenal, and no one is actually talking about City. And then City is coming slowly, slowly, winning their games, coming back to form. Their players are gelling as well because they bought a few players as well. And I'm thinking, oh man, we need to talk about City as well soon. But luckily, they lost today. And then I still think it will be a three-way race basically between Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. And
Hmm.
let's see what happens. I think Liverpool to be back in the contention, they have to win games, back-to-back wins. Maybe the some Liverpool fan start growing their hair and say, I'll cut my hair when we win 3 on the trot, like a United fan. Whoa. Let's talk about United now. You must
Thank
be
you, thank you. See,
very happy. You
see.
must be very
Okay,
happy now, Ajay. Yeah.
I'm wearing my top. We've done 25 minutes and we've not spoken about United. Now we're finally on to United. Thank you. But listen. The thing is, I even said last, we went to Anfield. Anfield is the hardest ground for us.
It
We went
was. It
there and we
was.
finally
Yeah.
won after 9 years.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're just beating records again because this is the
Mm.
now first time in like I don't know 7 games we've beaten Brighton.
Brighton, exactly. Yeah.
So Brighton are our bogey team. There's always
Yeah.
every team has a bogey team, and Brighton's always tend to be ours. And I was just so happy that what we did the business. We did really well. We kind of maybe stuttered a little bit towards the end when they got 2 goals, but then the final finish from Embuemo 4-2, fantastic. Perfect Saturday
Mm.
evening for me. And I think credit to the signings. I think and we talk about the transfer window, who had the better one. I think honestly,
Yeah. I
Kunya
think
and
yeah,
Buemo
Kunya.
are
Yeah.
fantastic,
Yeah.
absolute
Yeah.
beautiful players. You know what? They're exactly what the United badge mean. Kunya is a hard worker. He's got that Brazilian flair. He doesn't do the tricks and the flicks like Anderson or like Ronaldo back in the days. But he grinds and he gets into tight spots and holds the ball really well. And I thought fantastic. He's got his first goal. That was a fantastic assist by Casemiro. Well, it was a good play overall because it was good pressing by Luke Shaw, great passing from Casemiro into Kunya. Nice narrow spaces. It was really hard to break Brighton down, but we got that goal. And then Casemiro got a lovely deflected shot in as well for the second. And I thought going in at half time 2-0, I thought fantastic. When I've always said if you can win the game in the first half, United usually go in first half winning, they never lose. They've not lost. And that is a fantastic record that we still preserved. And I thought the keeper did really well. Lemens, he's got a lot on his shoulder. And I think, that Danny Welbeck free kick, I might be a bit critical and said he could have done a bit better because it wasn't right in the corner.
Welbeck scored again, right? Whoa.
Welbeck scored a beautiful free kick, yeah. And like I said, it wasn't right in the top corner. Like it was basically in kind of central and top of the goal. But I think he could have done a bit better from his starting position. And the second goal was a header from a corner. And again, you know what? Those ones are always a bit hard to save because it was quite close to him. But I think he played really well. Organised the defense really well, and he made some good saves and standard goalkeeping saves, which I'm so happy about because Andre and Anna would have probably let half of them go into the net. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, we're really grateful that we've got a keeper who's young and who's fearless and able to take that responsibility. And then obviously with Mbeumo, and I think the one thing I'll only touch on is his link up with Ahmad is going to be is fantastic, and we're probably going to really miss them in that January African Cup of Nations. But what I will say is Bruno Fernandes, and we were talking on the last podcast about should we sell him to Saudi for 100 million. But one thing I need to take back now and give some respect to this guy was that his vision for the last goal, and there's been some videos on Instagram that have basically shown it. He basically had the awareness to look over his shoulder to his left.
Yeah.
See Mbeumo's kind of
and he left it, right? And then he left it.
He left it. And I thought, what? 9 out of 10 players might have thought that ball from heaven, our young defender, might have been a skewed pass.
Calm down. No. It's all right. Listen, you were selling him to Saudi last week, and then you're telling wow, what a vision. Calm down, Ajay. Come back.
Okay, now he's 150 million. Okay,
yeah, 50. You're adding 50 more million,
just for that vision. Like I said, I mean, it's a fantastic thing to have as a midfielder, and I think the good thing about Bruno is, and now that he doesn't have that much attacking responsibility, because now we have a front three. I mean, Sesto got an assist, so the front three did something. They either scored.
Yeah, I think you got good front three at the moment.
Yeah,
with Kunya behind them.
If they can link up and they can play in week out, because there should be no reason that they shouldn't be playing week in, week out now, unless there's an injury. So it should be very good for United, and I think good for Bruno, because now he doesn't have that responsibility of we're 0-0 and we need to get a goal from somewhere. I'm going to have to take it up on my shoulders. So there's less stress on him. So now he can play a bit more freely. And I just thought for him leaving that ball, I thought that was just some IQ 200, fantastic play there, man. It was fantastic.
There you go, Bruno. You go one more game before I just start saying sell him to Saudi
one more
again.
season. One more season.
One more season. Okay. My bad. Not one game, one more season. But Ajay, do you think United are back now?
No. They're not back. The thing is, these are a tough, run of games, to be fair. Anfield, Brighton. And then we've got Forest, so I'm happy about that.
I mean, you should easily win that game now with the form you're in.
There's never any easy games.
But that's true. But Premier League this year has been a very tough game. Every game is a very tough game. Yeah.
Well, it's just going to be with Sean Dyche. It's just going to be the battle of the long balls.
But they lost today. They lost against Bournemouth today. Yeah.
But that's the thing, players obviously they had that rebound game in the Europa League or Conference League, whatever. So the Sean Dyche will probably add some stability to the team. But is Sean Dyche going to be a tactical master manager who's going to excel them? Maybe not. He'll probably just do enough to steady the ship. But like I said with Forest, Chris Wood's not firing. Their defense is a little bit over the place. So hopefully it'll be good for United to win that game. And then obviously we've got. I can't remember who we've got the week after, but
Spurs.
At least
Spurs.
We've got Spurs. Yeah, we've got Spurs. So we'll help you out. We'll do.
It's only Tottenham.
It's only Tottenham. But they're looking good too. I mean, but then again, they don't look good in midweek fixtures, but they look good on the weekend. So it's an interesting one. So no easy games in the Premier League. But I think for United, there's something different and there's something cooking. There's something slowly maybe building that we always kind of rushed with Amarin and thought he has no idea what he's doing. He's clueless. But I think maybe the players are buying into it a bit more. So they're able now to see the vision. But I think we need to add improvements, and I hope January comes really quickly and we're sitting in the top half of the table or even in the top 6, because that would be perfect for us. Because if we can add a midfielder, like the likes of Wharton, obviously whoever else.
I mean, Wharton today, I was very impressed with him today against Arsenal. He ran really, he was brilliant. His vision was good. He was really that the player I think we could buy as well. Arsenal. He will really fit in. Yeah. He's brilliant
Yeah.
actually, and he's young as well, right? So and he's English player, young, amazing talent actually. So Ajay, tell me, you know the fan who needs to cut his hair after 5 games. Should
I
we
love him.
invite
I
him?
love him.
Should we ask him to come on our podcast? And once
Yeah.
once before the last game, say you win against Forest, so now the 4 games and trot before the
Yeah.
Spurs game, we should invite him. So
We
I don't know, mate,
Well,
what your name is, but if you're watching this, please join us before Spurs game so we can talk about it, and then hopefully in the next podcast you can come back with your new haircut.
We'll tag him. We'll tag him in the video. Yeah. Now, to be fair, I think he goes to most United games, and actually, I'm going to be attending the one in Everton. So, if theoretically, if we beat Forest and we beat Tottenham, then that'll be the 5 games. Yeah, that'll be the 5 games. So the Everton one will be the 6th game. So if he's cut his hair by then, and if I manage to meet him, I'll definitely get you on an interview.
Get him That'll be brilliant, man. Yeah.
So,
but this is how this passionate game, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, what we'll have to do is we'll have to scatter his hair along Old Trafford as blessings. Yeah, and just say let this guy get some regular haircuts now. Don't go on a 5-loss draw. Make sure you win 5 games in a row more regularly.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, we should do. And if we can, you know what, winning games just builds.
100%.
You've seen it.
100%.
Liverpool losing games is losing the morale.
Lose confidence.
They not have confidence.
No.
Arsenal winning games, you don't concede, then you know that you're not going to concede the next game because you've got that mentality. So for United, with 2 wins on the trot, that was a massive confidence boost.
Yes.
Now beating Brighton, the bogey team, 3 wins on the trot. Fantastic. Now we go into Forest as favourites. I mean, this is hard for United fans to say. We're actually going to go into a game as favourites. We've never had that in the last 2 seasons. So
exactly.
Let's see.
Let's see. I think it'll make the Premier League more exciting. Let's see what happens. And City lost today. That was brilliant. Spurs scored 2 set pieces goal tonight against Everton. They won 3-0.
They're learning.
Guys,
they're putting Arteta's vision board on their dressing room.
At least we innovated something, how to play set pieces. So, all set pieces coaches.
Everyone's got the set pieces. But honestly, I think set pieces coaches are going to get asked for a raise after this season. They're going to be like, "Oh, you want me for next season?
They should. I want
200% increase."
Exactly. Look how we improve the performance. We should. Yeah.
Well, I think the Brentford coach was a set piece coach, actually, wasn't he?
He was,
So that's hilarious. But you know what? Honestly, this weekend has been crazy. I mean, just to run through for our viewers who might not have been looking at the Premier League table. I'm sure Liverpool fans have not been looking at the Premier League table. But Bournemouth, Spurs, Sunderland as your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Who would have thought? And could we just say, what an absolute fantastic season Sunderland are having?
Yeah, amazing,
17 points.
Amazing.
They only lost 2 games, 5 wins.
I think they conceded the 2nd fewest goal, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, goal difference is 4.
Goal is 7, there you go.
I can't see the goal fors and against. But the thing is, if they can do a Leicester season, that would be even more
This
hilarious.
is our season today. This is our season, man. Don't come back and say, Sunderland, please, don't do it. You can be 2nd, but please, this is our season this year. Arsenal's season this year.
I think we're going to get a new trend going for the 2 halves, 2 innings family. Let's get the Sunderland for the win. Sunderland for the 25-26 season. Premier League champions.
Come on, Gunners. Come on, help me here. Support me here. Come on.
No, but honestly, I when I woke up and
I think they're doing
my phone on Sunday morning, and I'm like, United are above Liverpool. I'm 1 second. Let me check my eyes. Let me get to Davis Opticians. Am I seeing this right? Oh my God, United are above Liverpool, and City 5th, United 6th, Liverpool 7th, and the gap is so tight.
It is tight.
Even 2nd to 11th. There's only 5 points in it. So this is a very
exactly. United only 2 points off 2nd. And only 6 points behind Arsenal. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying, guys. This year, it's very tight. We have to, whoever's going to win the league, they have to win like 95% of the games to win this year. I
don't know. Maybe I'll disagree with you actually on that one. Then, because I feel like well, this is the problem. Is Liverpool have actually lost more games than United. City have already lost 3. Arsenal have only lost 1. I think there's going to be an element where there's going to be. I think it's going to be a very low
exactly.
finish. I think it'll be a low finish at the top. I think unless Arsenal run away with it, they could go. Well, they can't do invincible, but they can obviously go and win, like you said, majority of the games. So I think a lot of the other teams are going to fumble. We've seen Liverpool have their fumble. If they go on an incredible run, then yes. But is that likely to happen? City might do this where they've got 4 games in a row they win, but then they lose 1 or 2 in that time as well. So I think it's going to be a very kind of a season where, again, like how Liverpool won it last season, there's going to
Yeah,
be 2 or 3 teams that should have been title contenders
yeah.
have just dropped a little bit. Now
Let's hope
Liverpool
not.
have every right to. It's hard to win back-to-back Premier Leagues,
It is
and
hard.
they've got a
Yeah,
new
yeah,
squad. So Liverpool
yeah.
could maybe just say this season, right? We messed up on the transfer window, even though we thought we were going to do absolutely fantastic. But next season we're going to be wicked
But
because
but then
we'll
again,
iron it out.
Ajay, this is where Arne Slot will come in, right? That's why they pay him to sort these things out. So if he thinks he can't play Isaac and Ekitike together, then he needs to find out the best way to play them.
It's going to be hard. I think they've already got an informed Gakpo on the left. If you're going to annoy Salah, you've got to make that kind of decision because he does not like being benched. He does not like being substituted, or he does not like not starting. Do you kind of say then, fine, you know what, we're going to get rid of him in January, get rid of him in the summer, and make it Isak in the middle, Ektikite on the left, or right, and then Gakpo on the left. He's got to make that decision because clearly it's not working. And look how well they played without Salah in Champions League. But then again, that was a Bundesliga game anyway, so it doesn't matter. That was Ektikite and Wirtz versus pretty much that was like a home game for them. But then he came back in against Brentford, and again, obviously he got the goal, but did he really affect the game in the first half as much as he should have done, or in most of the parts of the game? So it's a tough one. That's what happens. One season you look amazing, and the next season you look bad. But I'm just fantastically happy that this has happened at the same time. United are winning games, Liverpool are losing games. It's just a very beautiful crossover. So long may it continue. I'm happy
Long
about
may
that.
continue. Long may continue.
So, guys, we're going to wrap up this. And you know what? Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting. Please do drop some comments on this video as well. And if you have anything that you wanted to add about the weekend's fixtures, and if you want to laugh at Chelsea anymore, please do put some emojis on the bottom of the video. But yeah, honestly, we'll catch you on the next preview of Matchday 10, which is going to be even more juicier. And we'll hopefully have Amit back as well. And he's having his fantastic time in France. And you know what? We'll catch you on the next one. So guys, again, let us know how you're doing in your fantasy teams. Let us know if you wanted to join in and if you wanted to contact us and be part of our videos. So yes, tune in for the next one and we'll catch you later.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe, please, if you haven't subscribed yet.
That's the main thing, yes. Make sure. Come on, United.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God. See you guys.